Dr. Singh is going to talk about another mystic concept of Naam Simran, concept and practice.
So the topic is Naam Simran. Naam Simran is at the very heart of Sikhi. Gurbani tells us, Nanak ke ghar keval Naam. In the house of Nanak or Sikhi, there is only Naam. That is really what being a Sikh is really all about. Sikhi has been described as Naam Marg, the path of Naam. In traditional Indian philosophy, there are three paths to achieve union with the divine: Karam Marg, Dhyan Marg, and Bhakti Marg. Sikhi is Naam Marg, which includes aspects of all three, although it is closest to Bhakti Marg. The Guru tells us that the whole purpose of life is to seek union with God, which is achieved through Naam Simran. Bhai prapat manaf dehuriya, govind milan ki ho tejbariya, avar kaj kare kitna kaam, vilsad sangat, bhaj keval naam. Nothing else is as important as Naam Simran. Gurbani has many passages about how useless life is without Naam. Man na jaye jina bisrat naam, naam bina jeevan kaun kaam. Very strong language. Without Naam, what is the point of life? Naam bina nahi jiya jaye. It is not really living without Naam, because you are spiritually dead. So what is Naam? Literally, of course, as mentioned I think in one of the earlier talks, literal meaning of Naam is just name. You use a name as a kind of a handle to refer to someone or something. This has been described as the Akhri Naam, the literal word that identifies something or someone. This word or name brings to mind some attributes or qualities or the concept that you have regarding what it points to. This can be called the Suksham Naam or conceptual Naam or its deeper meaning. For example, when you say table, this Akhri Naam would make you think of something with four legs and a top on which you can put stuff, which is the essence or concept of what a table is. Similarly, the word Vaheguru invokes the concept and attributes of the divine that are described through Gurbani. That's where the conceptual Naam comes from, is from Gurbani. Two other forms of Naam that we will talk about can be called the Vyapak Naam, the all-pervading divine presence of Naam, and the Anubhav Naam, which is the actual experience that you get when you practice Naam Simran and get in touch with the divine. Now, Naam itself is a word with a very broad and deep and often mystical meaning. As used in Gurbani, there are actually three different levels of meaning of the word Naam. The first is as an aspect of Vaheguru himself, the essence of the divine, a mystical, all-pervading divine presence or force or vibration, the Vyapak Naam. Second, it is used to describe a state of being in tune with or one with Naam, or the experience of being in the state of God consciousness or God awareness. This experience, or Anubhavi Naam, is achieved through Naam Simran. Finally, it refers to the process or techniques for actually achieving the state of God consciousness, the practice of Naam Simran or Naam Japa. So at the deepest level, Naam is the essence of Vaheguru himself, a divine force or presence that underlies all of creation. In Asa Diwar, Guru Nanak Dev Ji tells us, Apine aap sajyo, apine rachyo nao, doi kudrat sajye kar asan dekho chao. So Vaheguru created himself, then he established this creative power or spirit of Naam and used that to create all of Kudrat, all of creation. You can think of the laws of nature also as being a part of this Naam, which is like the foundation of everything in the universe. A couple of other words in Gurbani that are also used for the same concept are Jyot, or divine light, and Hukam. So this all-pervading spirit of Naam, the Vyapak Naam, is the underpinning or foundation of everything in the universe. Naam ke dhare sagle jan, naam ke dhare khand raman. According to Gurbani, Naam, like Vaheguru himself, is agam and agochar, incomprehensible, unfathomable, indescribable. It is difficult to get our arms around this concept of Naam and define it in a concrete way. You can't really analyze it, you can only experience it. So let's talk about the experience. Naam is also referred to as a state or experience that we may call Anubhav Naam, the experience of being in tune with the Vyapak Naam, or the all-pervading spirit or presence of Naam. This is a mystical experience or state that is referred to by several words in Gurbani, including Chautha Pad, or the fourth state, beyond the three gunas or modes which we normally operate. So it is a state of transcendence that's beyond all our normal experience. You also see references to Turiyavastha, Sahajavastha, Dasandwar. They all refer to the same concept. This experience itself is beyond description in words. It is described as gunge di mithai, like a mute person tasting something really delicious, but he's incapable of expressing it in words. All he can do is smile. The Gurus describe this Naam experience in many different ways, but they have to use metaphor and allegory. Even they can give us glimpses, but they cannot describe it in its entirety because it is an akat katha, a story that cannot be expressed in words. This experience is also described in various colorful ways in many beautiful shabads by not only the Gurus but also all the Bhagats and Sevas and Sahib. Some shabads describe it using images from yogic terminology, some in terms of brilliant light, while others refer to the divine music or the Anhat Shabad. The individuals who actually reach this stage also experience it in many different ways. So everybody's experience of it can be a little bit different also, because we experience it through our own limitations, and it's something that's beyond all those limits. A key part of the Naam experience is Anand, bliss, joy or ecstasy, also described as Ras, and I think Inderji talked about Ras also in a different, slightly broader concept. It is like drinking something delicious and fulfilling. This Naam experience is like being in a constant spiritual high. Gurbani often uses the terminology of drinking and of being intoxicated. Baba manmatvaro naam ras pile, sahaj anand ras rachya, or naam kumari naam ka chadi rahe gunraat. Drinking liquor, of course, is not something that is recommended, but we are encouraged to get drunk on Naam instead. All the Bhagats and the Sahib and Sahib, not just the Gurus, talk about Naam Simran and this mystical Naam experience. And they even use the word Naam. The Bhagats came from different religious backgrounds. So we can see that Naam Simran was already there within all of these faith traditions. And this is kind of getting back to something he was just talking about. The unitive experience. The key aspect of this mystical Naam experience is this unitive experience, a strong sense of oneness, that all creation is one, that we are all connected, all part of the one. Brahm dise, Brahm suniya, ek ek vakhaniye, atam pasara, karan hara, prab binani janiye. So as people really make progress, spiritual progress through Naam Simran, they get this strong, they see oneness everywhere. I see God, I hear God, I speak of the one and only God. The divine spirit is seen in the expanse of creation. Without Guru, I don't see anything else at all. What happened here? Jump ahead. Okay. और सब गोविंद है गोविंद बिन नहीं कोई सूत एक मन संत सहस जैसे पोत पोत प्रभ सोई. All of creation looks like a mala or necklace, like many beads on a string. That string underlying everything is Naam, and the beads include people. So one of the goals is to see the Naam in everybody and to treat everyone accordingly. This is a key part of the ethics of Sikhi. Na ko bari nahi begana, sagal sang humko banyai. And further along he says, Sab ne rab raya prabhe ko, ek ek nanak besai. Now let's get to the actual process of Naam. What is Naam Simran? Some think of it as Naam Japna, the repetition or chanting of Vaheguru or other mantra or name of God. There is much discussion around whether Vaheguru is the Guru mantra. Some chant the whole of Mool mantra, others chant Ek Omkar, Satnam, Vaheguru. There are also many different ways and styles of chanting it. IGS used to do this. Vaheguru. And I think the 3HO people have their own many different mantras and ways of doing it. Then there is meditation or focused contemplation, which is in fact what we think more of in Naam Simran. Again, there are many different ways of doing this, with some advocating specific postures of sitting, different breathing techniques, focusing your attention on a specific spot, such as the middle of the forehead, or your belly button, or something else. None of these is wrong. Whatever helps to get in the right contemplative state is fine. It is Naam Simran. What really matters is one's attitude, frame of mind, dedication, and focus. Some say Simran is really Sifat Sala, praising God and singing His praises, instead of just repeating His name or chanting Vaheguru. Others will say instead of His name, think of His attributes. And in fact, Sahib does just that. It takes you through one quality of God after another, addressing hundreds of divine attributes. In fact, I just said it was so many thousand, right? I forget the number now. So in Sikhi, Naam Simran is really an integrated, holistic process of getting in tune with the Vyapak Naam, the divine spirit, which can include all of these components. Gurbani, Kirtan, and Nitnem are very important parts of the process. Gurbani reminds us constantly of God, sings His glory, and shows us many different ways to relate to Him. Kirtan adds this whole dimension of music, which we heard a lot from Inderjit earlier. And in the early stages, these are the most effective ways of developing our concept of God and relating to Him. For someone who has no experience of Gurbani, no exposure to it, and he wants to become a Sikh, and you tell him, sit down here and repeat Vaheguru, Vaheguru, and tune into the divine. It isn't likely to be very effective, because the word Vaheguru is just a word at that point. It doesn't mean that much to him. So it is through the Guru's word in the form of nickname, part, Kirtan, Gurbani, that we develop the concept of Vaheguru and start relating to his name. It is Gurbani in its many forms that helps us to add the deeper meaning to the word to the Akrina. So all of these, Part, Kirtan, Nitnem, are forms of Naam Simran that take us along the path of tuning into the divine. However, the ultimate part of the process, which is really important for the Naam experience, is the actual Naam Simran, which consists of dedicated meditation and contemplation, sitting down and focusing just on Naam. So Gurbani itself tells us repeatedly to Naam Japa, to do Naam Simran. So we have to take this next step. Otherwise we are reciting Gurbani but not actually doing what the Guru is telling us to do. When you first start meditating on Naam, it can be really challenging. It's very challenging to stay focused, because concentrating on a single word like Vaheguru just goes totally against the mind's tendency and its desire to run around chasing one thought after another. It has been described as Sil Anvani Chatna, like licking a tasteless stone. Initially, that's what Naam Simran can feel like for a long time. And at this early stage, Kirtan and Part can be much more enjoyable than Naam Simran. But you have to stay with it, and as you keep at it, after a while, it becomes much more enjoyable and full of rest. And as Gurbani tells us, I think it's the words of Kabirji, Ram ras piyare, jai ras bisar gaye ras all. So after a while it's all ras, and that's how you feel, that's how you say. Then you actually look forward to your daily time for meditation. And if you don't do it, you feel that you're really missing something when you don't do your Naam Simran. The practice of Naam Simran consists of regular dedicated meditation on some word, and Vaheguru is the favorite word. Now, Vaheguru itself does not appear in Gurbani, except in the Bani of the Bhatts, where it's used in praise of Guru Ram Das. And IJ talked a lot about this, so I won't spend much time on it. Gurbani uses words like Har, Ram, Gobind, Allah, and many others, as in Har Har Naam Japo Man Mere, Ram Ram Go Ram Ram, Saas Saas Simro Gobind, and so on. So many who are not Sikhs, including the Bhagats in Gurbani, have used some of these names other than Vaheguru, and they have all been doing Naam Simran as well. The name Vaheguru is more important, the name itself is more important in my opinion than the specific word you use. Now I personally do use Vaheguru, because that is the tradition, that's what I grew up with. And I actually kind of like it because it gives you that sense of wonder, that awesomeness of wow, wow. But any name is fine, it's really, it's what you bring to it that matters. What really matters is your attitude, frame of mind, and the dedication and focus. What is actually really essential, most of all, is to fill our hearts with love. As we say Vaheguru and feel his love for us, and to feel just totally enveloped in love. For Vaheguru is all love, and that's what Simran is really about. This is what adds real meaning to Simran, experiencing the love, experiencing the divine presence, and blissfully enjoying the rasa. That's what Naam Simran is about. Guruji tells us, "Til prem kiyo can he prapaya." Only those who have loved can achieve the beloved. One of the biggest challenges in the practice of Naam Simran is to still the mind and keep it focused. The mind is inherently very chanchal or restless and slippery. You try to keep it focused, but something triggers a thought, and one thought leads to another, and suddenly you realize you have lost it. Then you have to gently bring it back on track. So one way to deal with this challenge is to use some line from Gurbani and say it once or twice before you bring it back to Vaheguru. I usually like to choose some line about love, like "So Satguru Pyara Mere Naal Hai," or "Sajanura Mera Sajanura, Nikat Khloera Mera Sajanura." But you can pick any lines that you like, something that really appeals to you and especially makes you feel love for Vaheguru, and then go back to Vaheguru. Bliss and joy are a key part of the Naam Simran experience. Tere ghar anand vadai tud ghar, as Guruji says, God's house or presence is full of bliss and celebration. Anand vaya meri maya satguru mein paya. I am in ecstasy, O my mother, for I have found my Vaheguru. This anand is what we must strive to feel as we do Naam Simran. Another important aspect of the practice of Naam Simran is surrender, overcoming a hauman. Hauman naal naal virodh hai, do na base dham. Hauman and Naam are like enemies, they cannot dwell in the same place. Now Gurbani also tells us that Naam is the best way to overcome hauman. So it is an iterative process, it's a chicken and egg thing. You overcome hauman through Naam, and you have to overcome Naam to overcome hauman to do Naam Simran effectively. So it's a process that you have to keep growing spiritually in both of these areas. When people talk about meditation, they often say that you have to empty your mind of all thought. And I hear that especially in the more secular aspects of all the talk about meditation these days. Make your mind blank. That does not work. The mind cannot be made blank. And in any case, a blank mind is useless. What you have to do is to still it and focus it. And in fact, you have to fill it, not empty it. You have to fill it with loving thoughts of Vaigu and the divine presence. You do have to stop it from other thoughts and all the usual chatter in which the mind likes to indulge. When the surface of water in a lake is disturbed by a pebble dropped into the water or by the wind, you cannot see the bottom because of all the waves. But when the waves are stilled, then you can clearly see through the water and see the rocks at the bottom and colorful fish swimming around. If someone were to throw a pebble, suddenly you cannot see anything anymore again. That stone is the thought. And the beautiful fish deep in the water is the experience of Vaigu and his presence deep within yourself. Only when your other thoughts are stilled can you experience the divine presence within yourself. There is some debate on when we should do Naam Simran. The best time is early in the morning, but the Guru also says Har Simran ki sabhi dena. So any time is good for doing Simran, and we are told to do Simran saas biras, with every morsel of food, with every breath, at all times. Raat dinas par bhat tu hai hi bhavna. But the best time definitely is to sit down and do dedicated Simran at Amrit Vela, or the ambrosial hour early in the morning. Wo satgur ka jo sikh khaye, subhal ke uthar naam le aaya. If you want to call yourself a Sikh of the true Guru, you have to rise up early in the morning hours and meditate on the Lord's name. And we hear this message about Amrit Vela throughout Gurbani, not only from Guru Ram Das as in this Shabad, but also in the Banis of every single one of the Gurus, as well as all the Bhagats, Namdev, Kabir, Ravidas, as well as Furedi. They all have something to say about early morning. Naam Simran is like a door. We go through that door to meet Vaigu, but Vaigu also meets us through the same door. So it is a two-way process. In the words of Bhai Gurdas, Charan sarang do ek penda jai chal, sabkuch kod penda aage hoye dekha. Take one step towards the Guru and he will take 100 steps forward to receive you. We have to put in dedicated effort to make progress on this path of Naam, but it's ultimately all in Vaigu's hands, subject to grace. Karam mile, akham tera naam. Aap japaye, jape su naam. We can only hold up the bowl and pray for the gift of Naam. It is Vaigu who pours the Amrit, Naam Amrit into it in his grace. Gurbani tells us to do Simran all the time, which of course is very hard to do as you go through your life and you are engaged in various things. Some of them need a lot of attention. What Guruji is telling us is to be in a constant state of God consciousness or God awareness. You can't be saying Vaigu consciously while you're doing other things, but you can always be in a higher state. Haath paam kar kaam sab, cheet niranjan bhav. So go through all your activities, but keep God in your heart. As you practice Naam Simran, the Naam comes to reside in your heart at a level below the conscious level and becomes just a part of who you are. And then all your actions are guided by this God awareness. You would refrain from doing anything unethical, for example. Even when you are engaged in mental activities that require concentration, that connection with Vaigu remains. The main goal, I'm going to go very, very briefly because we're out of time. Let's talk about some of the rewards of Naam Simran, really briefly. The main objective of Naam Simran, of course, is to get past this cycle of birth and death and to achieve everlasting union with Vaigu. However, Gurbani tells us that you don't have to wait for the afterlife to enjoy the rewards. The benefits start flowing right away and right here in this life. In log sukhi, par log sukhele. Through Naam Simran, you get peace, stability, and strength of character. You are able to maintain an even keel through the ups and downs of life. Whatever life throws at you, you can remain in Chaddi Kala. Your actions in your life and your spiritual path are a parallel path. Each have to go in the same direction. If your actions are unethical, you're not going to be able to do Naam Simran. Naam Simran makes us better and makes our actions better. So it works both ways. And then Sarab Rog Ka Okal Naam. Naam has tremendous healing properties. I won't spend more time on that. Karis Naam Simran Par Apna Mantan Bhaya Hoga. And Naam helps to purify us, make us better people. As we say in Japti Sahib, Bhariye Hath Pain Kar De Pani Bhutta Utras Ke, and goes on, Bhariye Mat Papa Ke Sang Odho Pain Ave Kera. So the benefits of Naam are millions of them described all over in Gurbani. In Sukhmani Sahib, there's a whole Ashpadi that starts with Prabke Simran, God bless you, Prabke Simran goes on, a whole Ashpadi. Talks to you all about all the rewards of Naam Simran. So in closing, let me close with the words from the end of the Ardas. All right. Anyway, Nanak Naam Chaddi Kala. To the power of Naam, may we all grow spiritually and live in Chaddi Kala. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Bole so Nihaal, Shri Akal. Thank you very much, Mr. An excellent talk on Naam Simran. I have a few questions. First one is, Naam Kumari Nanka Chadi Rahe Din Raat, Guru Granth Sahib de kis raag ka shabd hai?
I don't think it's in the Guru Granth Sahib. I think it's from the Sahibs. Has anybody seen it in the Guru Granth Sahib? I don't think it is.
This is not.
This is from the Sahibs.
Yeah.
Question number 2. If there is a risk of treating a single word such as Vaheguru as a magic word with superstition attached, and if we chant Vaheguru, if so, how do we avoid this?
I already made that point. The Vaheguru word itself, you don't want to treat it like a spell. It is through Gurbani that we develop a concept of who Vaheguru is. And what word you use is not important. It's a concept of Vaheguru. How do you feel about it? It's feeling love for Vaheguru as you say the word, feeling his presence as you say the word. And the word is only a way to focus your mind. And actually, when you really get into Naam Simran, as they say, mantik janda, when you get that connection, then the word kind of disappears. Saying Vaheguru is not important. You're going within yourself and you're just feeling the presence. And the word is just something in the background, kind of background anyway. So it's only a means to an end. It's like you start a car with a starter, but once it's running, you're not going to do anything with the key, right? In India, we even push start the car, but then you don't keep pushing it, it runs by itself. So once you're in tune, then that repetition of the word or all that is unimportant. Right. Well, some of them, some of the cars need a lot more pushing. Like when I'm at the earliest stage, I need to be pushed all the time a lot more. But when the cars are in better shape and they're more in tune, then they kind of start going by themselves.
And there is another question. We have had many discussions about Amrit Vela. What are your thoughts on the when aspect of Amrit Vela? Can one not be immersed in the Naam any time of the day?
We touched on that. You can do it any time, and it's good. But the Gurus really recommend Amrit Vela. And a couple of reasons for that I can think of. One is things are a little quiet. The hustle bustle hasn't started. There aren't as many distractions. It's easier to focus when it's quiet in the morning. And secondly, your body is fresh after a night of sleep. And you are doing Naam Simran, and there are other people doing other things at that time. So it's a very special time for that reason. But you can do it any time. For somebody who's working a night shift or something, a nurse, she can't do it at Amrit Vela. And they can do it at some other time, and that's fine.
The last question is, you refer Naam as a concept. Is it not something concrete?
Naam is a lot of things. That's what we said. There's so many ways of looking at it. It's a concept, it's a presence, it's an experience, it's a practice, it's all of those.
And the second part of it is that did you get Naam?
We are all at various stages. Did I get Naam? I practice it. I've been doing it for many years. Sometimes, sometimes my mind gets in a better stage. Sometimes it's distracted. But over time, it gets a little better, and the number of distractions go down. But the more important thing is it transforms us personally. As you keep doing Naam Simran, you feel you're growing spiritually. You find yourself more aware of your own limitations, ability to stay calm, not get angry, not get disappointed by things too much. Maybe you still go up and down, but you go up and down a little bit less. So, did I get calm? I don't know. I'm working on it, and I'm sure a lot of other people here are working on it at different stages. And as long as, once you get to the point where you're getting some rest and enjoyment out of it, you're getting past that point where it can grow. And that's the important thing, to stay with it till you get past that point and then not give up.
One last minute question is, can you please explain 84 lakhs of life cycles mentioned in Gurbani?
Gurbani uses lots of phrases that were just part of the language at that time. The understanding of science in those days was whatever it was. And the Guruji uses those as concepts. So when he says 8.4 lakhs, in my opinion, he's not telling you the number. He's saying there are a lot of species all made by God. And this is just a shorthand number to refer to all the countless species. That's what he's really saying, in my opinion. I may be wrong. Maybe there's an actual number, but the number of species goes up and down at different times. There have been extinctions, there have been times when they go up. And besides we are on Earth, we know there are lots of other planets. Do they have life? We don't know. Maybe there are so many, maybe there are millions of planets, and then how many kinds of life are there on those? Is there going to be a finite number? I don't know. So I really think it's a shorthand for saying all the different kinds of life.
This is true that according to Gurbani, heaven and hell is here in present life, and karma is here. Everything is here, not in the next life.
Well, it does say there are future life, there is a future, there is an afterlife. It does talk about birth and death, so there is some form of reincarnation. But whether it's to be taken, how literally you take some of these things, because it's all talking about something that's beyond human understanding. God is God, and His ways are beyond our understanding. And the Guru only give you glimpses of it in terms of words, describing something that can't be described. So you have to take the concept, but whether you take everything exactly literally or not, I don't know. And it doesn't matter. It's the deeper concepts that matter. Is there karma? Yes, Guruji tells us there's karma. But also, karma means that what you do, you will get the rewards and results from it, effects of that. And that's very clearly stated in Gurbani many times. But it also says that karma is subject to grace. That it is below grace. In a lot of the Hindu karma, it's like a machine. It's all very mechanical. Your karma, this karma, and then you get this, and you walk like this, and it's all fixed. But Guruji tells us Vaigu is forgiven, and the karmas can all get burnt off through prayer, through love of Vaigu, through Naam Simran. The karmas are not immutable. There's something that's stronger than karma, and that's Vaigu's grace.
Thank you very much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.